we're here for the final video. Hopefully you guys stuck with me. I really do. This project meant a lot of writing, a lot of thinking, a lot of my thoughts. We're on to number 5, the last video. It was supposed to be one video that I had my thoughts, and a lot of it was stemmed off a lot of these people's opinions on things and the way I felt. And I was like, I could defend this. I kind of see where I have spots where I can make sense of this. And one video wasn't enough. I literally covered Randy's like maybe an hour and a half with all my thoughts and worked it through, and then that's when I got into the script writing for the other ones and going through my thoughts and putting it pen to paper, and it changed everything. I don't want to be cocky, but I almost feel like I was right, and people can disagree with that because it's an opinion how I feel that I'm right. I feel like I give a great, hopefully by the end of this, I thought this was gonna fall, by the end of this one, it bookends to the ending of Homecoming, from No Way Home. God, all these homes get me all mixed up, that it all worked to what I was trying to explain. And it really, and I hate it because it's always going to be your bias. You like MCU Spider-Man. I guess you could call me biased, but I really like good storytelling. I really like characters getting the respect they should get. I like it not being dumbed down for people. I like taking risk. I like, changing things when it might be needed. And I told you guys a million times if you watch the videos, I love things being modernized where it doesn't get them so locked into a certain way that it gets to a point where it's cheesy sometimes. And I think nowadays people have learned how to kind of make superhero movies work without getting them locked up into those corny type things sometimes. And it's not to shit on things that have been out already or whatever. It's been a learning process, I believe, for these directors, these writers, everybody. But it's been fun. I've been really enjoying this. I'm hecka achy right now. I don't know why I'm stiff. I think it's stress. But No Way Home just ended, and that's what we're going to talk about today. My closing arguments in No Way Home. A lot of people are not going to have any problems with this talk with No Way Home, but maybe what I'm going to pull from No Way Home, they might have little issues, because I feel like I'm revealing the truth, and people are not going to like what I'm revealing, because I'm definitely going against what people are saying, or at least this guy is saying. I almost said chump. That's rude. I shouldn't think that, because I felt a little attack. And then I started to actually record it for a little bit, and I just felt too stiff. It's hot and all sweating and stuff, and I stopped. And then I was working on my phone, doing on some other video stuff, and then Civil War is on. You leave on FX, it plays just Marvel 24/7, and literally the airport scene came on, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is where it started and finishes. Civil War, and I just watched Far From Home. This is perfect. This is why I need to go get up and go make this video. So if you came to any of these videos, I appreciate it. If you are here right now, I appreciate it. If you make it all the way through all these videos, that's awesome. Or even make it through one of them and it makes you intrigued to watch another one. But you're just a really cool person for giving someone a shot that loves to talk about superheroes and movies, critique them, break them down, and actually listen. I do this all the time with other people's videos, and I really do appreciate people's outlets and them talking about things, and just, it's my world, and hearing about it, and just being able to talk back and forth with people. I don't have much people to talk to, getting older, it's a little different nowadays, so I go off these clips and I bounce off them. And first one that started it really for this series was the influencer Soups. I honestly don't care for him that much. I never really did. When he came out, he was on TikTok a lot, and it didn't click for me really. He spammed a lot, but I understand having your videos out all the time. But it was like the same thing. I remember it was dealing with the release of a movie, and people were getting hella irritated because every post was him talking about a new date, and so it kind of just rubbed people the wrong way and kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I kind of just stopped following him. And this gentleman, I don't know his name, but it started off with Soup saying Homecoming was dog shit, and it made my ears bleed, and I could not believe someone could think that of a movie that I held so high. And I think a lot of it had to do with maybe the age groups. And I don't want to shit on younger people, older people, whatever. I really do. I feel like people, like, you can watch all my other videos. I talk about people getting stuck with nostalgia, but I should be the one stuck with nostalgia. I should be the one fighting for Raimi because I was there and I lived it differently. You put it out and got to watch it probably one after another. I watched it and had to wait 2 years till the next one or whatnot. So I was in the process of all this stuff. I fell in love with it when there was nothing else. Growing up, you start looking at things and you compare things. You always do, and you look at stories, and comics evolve, movies evolve, and you start looking at what they're taking from the stories and how they're connecting things. And to come off saying Homecoming was dog shit, it really pissed me off and made me pretty angry because I was like, you got me triggered. It just, the movie made so much sense to me. I don't get how they didn't get it. I'm not gonna get into all that because there's the video for that, and I explained why it went over their head, I guess. But again, not to make people like I'm smarter than them, but what I explain is what I believe is what they were doing, and what they were thinking it was doing. It was confusing them, and they didn't like it. It didn't feel like Spider-Man, but I kind of do it a little bit. I don't know. But we're listening to, I believe his name is C3. I don't know much about him. The Escape podcast, I always get clips from them. Always say, actually, might as well be on the show. They just have good debates, good talking points for me to just jump off of and talk about and give me something to say something about. And that's what led me to see Soup saying the bullshit he said. And then this guy, C3, I believe, say what he said. And that made me go, all right, I got two objectives in this. And this is where it comes start. So
I have to convince myself to like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And I know, because I think he's a great actor. He gets so much hate for, he's like, oh, he's only done Spider-Man all his career. I think he's great, and I think there's good moments in there. But I'll give you cannot defend it when No Way Home is literally resetting so they can start fresh because of how much they messed up in his trilogy.
Let 3C cook.
I don't think that's cooking, to be honest with you. So, when this was all planned, Marvel had an idea. That's like Samuel Jackson talking about the Avengers. They had an idea, and the idea was to do Spider-Man differently. And they weren't going to do it, again, I don't know them personally, but I could just tell what they're doing. And they kind of explained it along the way. Feige did. They didn't want typical Spider-Mans that we've already saw. That's why maybe it's hard for this guy to like Holland. I don't know if he hasn't. I don't like to be a gatekeeper of comics, but maybe he hasn't read a lot of the comics, understand how different ways it's been told, how many times we've had Spider-Man rebooted in comics. They just knew there's a lot of ways they can go about it. And when they planned this, I remember even Tom Holland doing an interview. He slipped up and started talking about number 2 and 3 while he was doing interviews for number 1. So 2 and 3 were already planned out. And they already were thinking about Far From Home. Granted, there probably could have been some changes in Far From Home to either if they could bring back the originals, if it was going to deal with multiverses. But there already were plans somehow for 2 and 3 that he mentioned. It was going to be a trilogy. I think even, I had a thing right here. He talked to, who is this? Tom Holland confirms. It's on Collider. Yes, there is what we call an arc of the character. I've said this a million times through every video. He's having an arc. This is a thing, building character character development. I say character development so many times you need a bingo card, you'll win all the time because I say character development a million times in these videos. There is still a lot of room for Peter Parker and Spider-Man, especially to grow in the next 2 movies. It's funny, I didn't find this quote today. This is literally what I've been saying. So these people need Soups, C3, if the other non-hat guy, that's going, he's cooking. Listen to Tom Holland's words. One more time. Yes, there is what we call the arc of the character. There is still a lot of room for Peter Parker and Spider-Man, especially to grow in the next 2 movies. He's definitely not finished He's not the finished article by the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. And I really look forward to exploring the different ways he can grow up and go through puberty, I guess. It's going to be an exciting couple movies. So, we learned in the beginning, and this was the summer of Homecoming, and they're talking about he's planning to be in Infinity War. They are saying that there was a plan. And regardless of number 3 maybe it shifted. I don't know. I don't know the behind the scenes, but 3 was already there. I don't think 3 was there to fix anything. 1 and 2 were already scouted and planned out. They knew what they were doing, and number 2 was heavily leaned into already the idea of Endgame. While they're filming Infinity War and Endgame, they were confirming what they were going to do with Spider-Man, and it's going to have a lot to do with Endgame. And I already went from Far From Home. I already did that. I don't need to talk about it again, really. But let's hear what his thing he said.
Here, I'll give you a layup.
3 movies to get Aunt May to say, great power comes great responsibility, starting him back, stripping him of everything they've built for 3 movies. That was not the original plan. That was them realizing we've gone so far from what Spider-Man is, we gotta go a brand new day.
This makes me cringe so hard. To be so sure of it, I at least will let you doubt what I'm thinking or what I've researched. No. You're discrediting the producers, the writers, the directors, Tom Holland himself, that they were doing things and they were failing. After Far From Home, they were like, this is crap. We need to fix this. Money-wise, I don't think they thought that. Critic-wise, I don't think that. Fan response, I don't think that. It only is till we get to another movie or something else doesn't go the way we like, then we start criticizing the way it went. When Homecoming came out, everybody loved it. This guy said he walked out of the theater, he felt nothing. Cool. I mean, you're not gonna make everybody happy. I get it. And that happens. He had expectations for Spider-Man to be maybe like Raimi's or be like Garfield's or something. And it depends what he grew up with, what comics he grew up with. It just depends. Some people have just pretty wide expectation, or open for opinions, I should say, not expectations, open for a character. And Civil War was, I didn't hear anybody complain about Civil War Spider-Man. And from that jump, you should have known we were going to get a different Spider-Man. This Spider-Man was not going to be the same Spider-Man that you saw in both previous franchises or series. We were going away from that. Far, far away from that. Civil War proved that. The talk with Tony, if you don't do the right things, people can get hurt or something along those lines. We knew he knew responsibility. We already knew that. They took care of that. He already did the beginning, getting the bit by a spider, fighting crime already. He's past that. Right now, he's in a different spot. So I go through, all this and saying like, oh, we're doing Brand New Day to get the real Spider-Man that we were supposed to get. It's part of the process. I think even Tom Holland said it, where he's going to go through like his own puberty of becoming Spider-Man, because to be real with you, he's like Spider-Boy in these. He's still growing, and he maybe doesn't have to hear what great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. It'd be cool. I agreed, because it's a cornerstone of Spider-Man. It's huge, but is this something that I will let go because they already made him basically say it, and they went so far in the story that I just forgot about it? No, but if it came back, it might have been a big deal. So, but we learned a lot from all these. So, with notes, basically everything led here. And Civil War, Peter already understood the responsibility. Get that through your head first. Everyone that's not understanding it. Not talking down people, just a little stressed out. Hoping people understand what I'm saying. Homecoming, he learns he's not ready. Homecoming, a lot of them were upset that he wanted to go out and jump around as Spider-Man, and Peter shouldn't do that. He loves school, and he shouldn't do this. I don't want to get too much into it because I already did this in another video, but he loves school, and he should want to be there and do this and do that. No, we're past that. That happened a long time ago already. That happened before Civil War. We're at a part where he just fought with the Avengers, and he thinks he's a fucking Avenger now. So by the end of that movie, he learns he's not ready, to the point he's trying to be the Avengers the whole time, to the point he gets it stripped from him, the costume, fights Vulture as himself, basically. He has to get up underneath the rubble and realize that he is who he is, and he's not that person that he thinks he's going to be, or should be. And even to the point where Iron Man's going to announce him as an Avenger, and he denies it, because there's growth, there's development, as Tom Holland said, puberty, changing, learning. So we go from there, and then we go to Infinity War, and he earns that he is respected, and he is in a place with the Avengers. And I go deep into how everyone reacts to him and how they treat him in that movie. There's like one scene maybe where Tony looks out for him. Other than that, everything's just mutual respect. Nothing else in the movie is looking down on him as a kid. He's an Avenger. Then we go to Endgame. He loses his mentor. Again, we're getting more character development here. Everyone hated the whole Iron Man. I bring up how they call him Iron Boy a lot, and that pisses me off because it wasn't being a sidekick. It was being taught by your teacher. It'd be like you getting pissed off that like Dick Grayson becomes Batman eventually, and you're like, why? Like he was Bat Boy the whole time. No, it's when you have like your mentor there, it's a different thing. It's a teacher. You're getting trained by someone to be the next generation of something. If you were getting trained by a boxer that was an amazing boxer and he wanted you to be an amazing boxer someday, and he eventually stepped down or he had you go with him, and it's just a different vibe. It's you were trained by them and you looked at this person for guidance, especially someone that doesn't have a father figure in there. It's gonna, he's not gonna replace the father, but you're gonna like to have that hole filled a little bit, giggity. And I don't think people grasp that. They got too much into, they need Iron Man because Iron Man's so popular, he's so big, he needs it to be in the movie. No, Spider-Man can make a movie without Iron Man. Nothing gets Tony Stark, nothing gets Iron Man, nothing gets Robert Downey Jr. They're all great, they're all amazing. Spider-Man could literally do donuts in a Volkswagen and people would watch it. It's Spider-Man. People will watch it. He doesn't need help. But what they were doing was connecting a whole MCU universe. They were doing something bigger that we've never seen before. And what they want to do is make Spider-Man a big glue to all that. They wanted him to have a part that he connected to so many different people. And not only did he do it in Civil War, he did it in Iron Man, he did it Far From Home. Everything. There was different characters that he connected with, and we're going to see in Brand New Day that if it is Jean Grey, again, we're going to release this right before it, he's going to connect to the mutants. And he's mutating, we already know that, and Hulk's going to help him. He's connecting with Hulk. And then he's going to connect with Punisher. And people go, you put all these characters in these movies. It's all Peter Parker's world. We're connecting. Spider-Man is, besides Iron Man, is the biggest beacon that's connecting everybody to everybody. And I don't get how people don't see that. I really don't. And then we get Far From Home, where he learns. I had to do a whole video on that because that it's such a tragedy. People overlook that movie, and they're probably looking at me like, "Oh my God, he's so dumb. The movie's so stupid." Look at my notes and watch it and think again. Just think. Be open-minded and think, and get where I'm coming from and what I'm explaining. What's going on, what he's going through, and again, these could be my truths. This whole series is the truth of my live-action Spider-Man. It definitely could make you not go my way, but maybe you'll take a little doo-doo nugget of truth behind what I'm telling you, what I'm explaining to you, why movies were important and why Far From Home was the glue between the Trinity and made sense. Wasn't because they're fucking up and they needed to reboot it after Far From Home. That wasn't the plan. Wasn't the plan at all. This wasn't Kang getting dropped out of the movie and we got to pivot and do something fast. This was part of the plan, as Joker would say. It's all part of the plan. This was part of the plan. The only thing I could see not part of the plan was having the idea of maybe getting Garfield and Maguire to be involved. That would be something that I could see open where we might have to ride around them not returning, because who knows? And you never know. But they're working with Sony. It'd be mainly up to the actors, I believe, if they wanted to return. And then in Far From Home, he believes he's trying to live up to expectations. So we're just kind of recapping what each one was about. And he felt the whole time he had to be Iron Man. He wanted to break. I call that video the therapy movie. His emotions are fucked through all of it. And he's really contemplating things bad. And he just wants to chill and not be Spider-Man really. And unfortunately, with Spider-Man, you got to be Spider-Man. But ultimately, he has to learn that he can't step up and be what he thinks he needs to be. He can't be Iron Man. And I think I even talked about Happy gives him that talk at the end when they're in the plane that you're not gonna like be him or something like that. Basically, stop reaching to be him. And that's kind of his closure in that story of growing and puberty, getting older and learning things. And we get the cool, seeing a little bit of Iron Man in him when he's building the suit and stuff, and you get a little hint that Tony's still there a little bit. But what we're looking at now is everything Peter wanted, he got. So like in the first Homecoming, he wanted to be recognized, he wanted to be on big missions, he wanted to be an Avenger, he wanted people to notice him, all these things. And it's almost like one of those horrible genie wishes when you do it wrong and then it comes true, but it's like a twist. It always comes in movies or something like that where you wish for it wrong and it comes out backfires. In No Way Home, it backfires. Far From Home sets that up, but No Way Home, everyone knows who he is. They know he's an Avenger. They all know who exactly he is. He's Peter Parker. And this isn't to fix those last two movies. This was a build-up showing what he wants. So if you want to, let's go back a little bit. Just follow me for a little bit. To Homecoming, he wanted all this stuff. And now they're showing your wish is my command. You're getting all this stuff now. So we're giving you all this, and now how do you like it, world? Or Peter. Life is saying, how do you like it? And while we had him transition from, I want all this, now I'm like, I'm not sure if I could be this, then to the point where this seems overwhelming, I need a break, I can't be this next guy, to here's it all out there, you're getting all what you want, and it's not coping well, and of course it wouldn't. It's a burden. It's coming from someone that wanted to be somebody, wanted to be the action, wanted to be there, to knowing that you can't do it, and then going from I need a break, coming to I can't be that guy, and then coming back to it's all on me now. That is what we call growth. That's what we call growing in a character arc, as Tom Holland said it. That's what it is. It's a story. It's called an arc, and that arc is what we're getting to with Far From Home. So Far From Home is going to lock all this up. It's going to take everything from, you can say Civil War, even though it's just a little scene, but basically Civil War to now, but mainly Homecoming to now, going almost a full circle. Most movies that do trilogies do a really good job at going full circle. It's tough. It's really hard to do. Spider-Man 3 did a horrible job at it because they had to make it where Sandman was the killer of Uncle Ben, and ruin the whole idea. It'd be cool if like Sandman was there in the first one and we learned later on, oh, that actor plays Sandman. They didn't know that. There was no plan, but unfortunately they didn't go reboot everything with blah, 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 because it didn't go the way they wanted. Things don't work like that because people have plans, but unfortunately that wasn't planned out. So full circle's a really hard thing to do. It's really hard, but a lot of times they can do it right. And I think even people probably hate Iron Man 3, but I think Iron Man does a good job coming full circle when the car finally drives off with the trailer and he repeats again he's Iron Man, and he kind of knows he doesn't need the suit and all the gadgets and all this stuff from the beginning where he needed all of it to get out of what he needed to get out of. It came full circle. They did a good job and it made a lot of sense. So some movies can do that really well. Some are like Captain America and they end setting up another movie. It's not so much for that. Then we go to the movie. Hell is broken loose. Spider-Man is noticed. MJ, Ned, they're there. Social support. Through all this, great characters. If you shit on these characters, you're fucking high. Mary Jane doesn't even have to ever show up now. Michelle Jordan is such a great character, and she's evolved so much. The development, we've seen her from the first Homecoming to what she is now, the confidence and stuff, it's crazy, and she's so good in her role. And maybe that's just bowing down to Zendaya being a great actress, because she is, but she took this role on and made it so unique. I don't know how anyone could argue that, even if they don't like any of the movies. And then Ned, he has been the best friend in any Spider-Man movie, like the best, and the most chemistry. And when they talk, I feel like they're friends when they're talking. I don't feel awkward. I don't feel like they're trying to act when they're talking. With Raimi's, I got the acting vibe. With the second field or Garfield, I felt like they had no chemistry and felt like they're just talking to walls. This felt like they're homies. I felt like they were offset chilling with each other. It felt like they really built that Death Star together. So we got all this characters. I felt like that grew a lot, and Ned kind of got more important as a chair guy, but I wouldn't say he got really deep or anything like that, but he just played a pivotal role for Spider-Man, having that best friend and someone that knows his identity. A lot of the Spider-Mans are always, he keeps it hidden, and this, Ned knows it from number one, and then Tony knows it from Civil War, and then Ned knows it from number one, and then from number two, MJ knows about it. And it's just a huge thing. It's just a huge deal that they did it in this way, not like any of the other Spider-Man movies. Again, taking risks, doing chances to create character development, and showing that we can do this and have people know him and actually make it work and make it sympathize, make it worrisome. They worry, they try to use him for popularity. It's a whole different take on Spider-Man that we've never seen before in any other movies. So this was also a thing that was nice, and we got a lot of that in the beginning because now everybody knows him, and this takes so much away from them because they were special, and now they're still special, but you're not special as in the aspect of everyone knows who Spider-Man is, where Flash is trying to like write a book about it and stuff like that. And we get into the problems, and the problems always are, I tell everybody, I've said this a million times to my friends, in comic books there's 3 people you go to when shit hits the fan. You go when it's technology, tech shit, you go to Iron Man. When it's genius, intelligence shit, you got to figure out something, you go to Mr. Fantastic. When it's magic, spells, you go to Doctor Strange. So when you're dealing with mystical, you know where to go to. When you're dealing with tech and things like that, and when you're just got a brain fart, you know who to go to. So Peter, worried about all this and who's gonna, you know, it's gonna come to harm, goes to Doctor Strange. Coolest thing on this is Doctor Strange doesn't look at him as a kid. He looks at him as a peer now. They fought together. They went to war together. It just worked. It worked. It made sense. They respected each other. And so much to the fact that he's like, hey, can you help me? And he's like, yeah. He doesn't question it. He doesn't say, I don't know. Wong sits there and goes like, I'm not part of this, and bounces. While Strange pretty irresponsibly says, yeah, I'll do it. And that's the crazy thing is there's a lot of times people want to call Spider-Man irresponsible during Far From Home or No Way Home. God, why they all gotta say home in it? No Way Home. And to be honest, Doctor Strange kind of came off a little more careless. He was just trying to be there for the guy he fought with next to in space, went to war with Thanos against. He trusts him, and he thinks Spider-Man or Peter Parker can do what he needs to do. And he's almost earned the respect of Doctor Strange, which is really cool, and we catch that at the end. So spell happens. Like you still got to remember he is a kid, so no one gets mad at this part. I'm just explaining that I'm gonna start. Wait, this is going too far. Maybe, you know, people I care about need to know, and, you know, he messes up the spell. So then everything messes up. We get people coming. Great fucking. There's not much to go off this movie besides great shit. Dr. Octopus, Alfred Molina. I can't talk enough about him. Green Goblin coming back. Norman Osborn. William Dafoe. Just greatness. And people were all like, oh, he's still worried about college while they're out. I don't think he knew they were out at that time. Someone bitched about that. I don't know if it's these guys, but they bitched about, oh, why is he out and he's trying to fight people while he's trying to go to college? I'm like, he did that, and then he saw it like all happen after that. So I don't people try to nitpick things. I don't think they pay attention to things. I mean, I could be wrong about things too. Don't get me wrong that I can miss the way things lined up, but I'm pretty sure he's trying to talk to the girl from MIT in the road, and that's when Dr. Octopus shows up, and then Green Goblin shows up, and I think he stops worrying about college at that point, to be honest with you. Yeah, and they all get great parts, and then we get to see May really push on this whole theme of you need to help people, you need to be there for people. We see Goblin, who is done 100% right, way better. Thank God we see the mask go away. I'm so happy. I'm glad they didn't keep it around. And then Spider-Man needs to save everybody. And we get everyone there. Electro just looks normal, and it's kind of dope that he's just not some nerd guy anymore. I think, again, I'll get back to that. But everyone's there. Lizard, he's CGI. You don't really use much of him. I don't get what happened with Sandman. I don't know if was Thomas Hayden Church, if he was there on set and just did voicing and they just CGI'd him, or someone else voiced him, but somehow something was going on. He was not present as a human ever. He was always Sand. So something was going on. I don't know the details. I never looked up them, but something was going on where he definitely wasn't playing the part fullest, like being there present. Either he was doing voices or not at all. I think he had at least voiced it. I have to look that up. I never looked up if he did the voice or not. So Spider-Man got to catch them all, like Pokemon, and put them in the box. Everyone gets mad. Why is he taken from Doctor Strange? He's the Sorcerer Supreme. First of all, he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. Not at that point, because he's fucked up too much, and Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme at that time. And the big thing is, he learns that, again, this is a lot about responsibility. He learns that all these people died, and he's just sent them all to the point where they die. And May's been hounding at him about this whole take care of people and make sure to do the right thing. And now he's stuck with this responsibility of, I can't let these people go back and die. Doctor Strange could say all the shit in the world and be like, no, you'll mess up shit, you'll mess up timelines. I'd been like, look, dude, you fucking listened to me to do this spell. Now you're trying to tell me to do something? He doesn't do that, but you could do that. But, you know, respect for Doctor Strange. He didn't go out that way. But he needed to do what was right for him. And that was for him to be responsible because he caused this. Even though Doctor Strange essentially did it, he essentially messed it up, and this is all his reason. So not only did he mess up, now these people are going to die on his watch. Even though the other Spider-Mans may have set up their deaths, he's now going to be the responsible one for their death. And he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't even know these people. He doesn't know if they even deserve to die yet. Like, he's meeting them for the first time. We've seen him in all the movies before. We knew some people deserve to die. And to be honest, the biggest thing I complain about with the Raimi movies is they made you sympathize with all the villains. They made you feel bad at the end. They always were not that much of a bad guy. So now it's to the point where people were mad that he was trying to save people that literally set up decades ago that we were supposed to feel bad for them. So we're not supposed to feel bad for them now, and Peter's trying to save them? Oh no, it's just because he shouldn't use the box and he's selfish. No, it's Peter being Peter. He wants to do what's right, even if that means disobeying his friend. And Peter's done that time and time before. Spider-Man has webbed up people to keep him from following him or to go with him because he's trying to do the right thing. And these deaths that could be happening now are on him, and that's what he feels like. So yes, he takes the box, and yes, it happened. And I heard them bitch and complain about how Doctor Strange, why did he do that to him? He's not. Why would you argue against Doctor Strange? Because Peter was trying to do what he believed was right. Sometimes we go against our friends, our elders, whoever, even authority, when we think something needs to be done right, and you think it's your responsibility and I got to make this right. Even people to the extreme where a cop catches the guy that murdered your family, you want to go break the jail cell and go kill them yourself. It seems right because they killed your family. But is it the right thing to do? Probably not. It's against the law. This is similar, but not quite. But he's doing something that he probably shouldn't be doing, but it's on him right now. And it's weighing on him. And a lot of this has been going on with Aunt May, and it's weighing on him. So Peter doesn't like trust Strange less for trying to do it or want to put them back. It's not about, oh, Doctor Strange is going to do something stupid now. I don't want him to do that. No, he's like, I need to fix this. I fucked up. This is my responsibility. I need to fix this. And no matter how dumb you are, you could chop it up to a whole bunch of other things. You could say he was young, he was stupid. You could have other excuses. But the biggest one is, or biggest example is, he wanted to make things right, and it was guilt on him. And that is why he stole it. He didn't care if Doctor Strange was going to be pissed off at him at the end of the day. If he saved all these people, it made it right. So we go on through the movie, and he does what he has to do. We get great characters, man. Great characters. The villains don't do well, and again, kind of sucks. Lizard just is a throwaway. He's CGI. Sandman CGI. People think it's really weird that they're all together hanging out. I guess that's some things people bitch about. I didn't find much problems with it. I do like Spider-Man getting that full-on spider sense that we really see visually how he goes through when he figures out Green Goblin. I do like Jamie Foxx's Electro, where he's not some dumb geek. He's actually a normal fucking dude. And he starts realizing he's about to lose all this power that he has. And it's all going well. And then, of course, Goblin messes up. And then it's really cool to see Doc Ock helping him and fighting with him a lot. That was a really cool idea for a little bit. But well, hell breaks loose. They get away, whatever, and then we get, you know, eventually to the point where Aunt May dies, and it's crazy. It's one of the biggest misunderstandings I feel like through this whole trilogy so far. Peter already believed in responsibility. It already showed in the beginning of this movie. The reason why he stole the box from Doctor Strange. Even Civil War proved that. He got responsibility. He knew what responsibility is. He didn't need May to say anything. So she doesn't introduce the lesson. She gives like a face to the lesson. So understand me. She gives a face to the lesson. The cost of the lesson. So you could be taught things all the time, but when it happens to you in your face, the things that you were taught to learn about, and you see it happen right in front of you, it impacts you a little bit more, and you recall it a little bit more. So yes, green shirt guy in the chair, we did wait this whole time, but it actually paid off. It told a really good story that it gave that idea that he knew about responsibility at face, and not to mention he's realizing that his responsibility is not just him using his powers the correct way. It's the fact that you can get people around you hurt, and he worried about that at times, but now he sees it right in front of him. He was already worried about in the beginning of the movie that they were going to get killed because of him, and then now he sees that Aunt May died because of him, because he was trying to do what was right for her and take care of those people. And even after that, he said she still believed in it. She still believed what we were doing was right, even though, you know, she died and all that. So responsibility kills someone Peter loves, and now those words have weight. So if you understand now, if you're following me a little bit, with great power comes great responsibility now weighs a ton. It wasn't just told quick when someone died and he didn't have any responsibility before that, and then it's a learning lesson. This wasn't a learning lesson. This is a hard reminder. It got said at the right time, where Peter is finally going through everything, but now he's starting to lose everything. We're not rebooting him. Look at me. We're not rebooting him. Brand New Day is not a reboot. They knew what they're doing. With great power comes great responsibility came at this point for a reason. He already knew what that meant. He knew it in Civil War. He knew it in all the other movies, because he was already fighting crime, and he already said, if you don't do the right things, bad things happen. He said it differently, and something he learned along the way. But we finally get this line from Aunt May, and she says it. It gives a face to that meaning. It makes it harder. When these other Spider-Man learned it, it was right in that moment. It's either told when they're dying or right before they die. This is different. He knew what it meant, but someone putting that phrase for him together and that weight of what it really means. He was trying to save these guys that Aunt May wanted him to save, because he was responsible. He fucked up the spell, and I'm trying my best right here to do what's best for my aunt, and she is telling me this when she was trying to do her best using her responsibility, and now she didn't die because of me. It wasn't great power comes with great responsibility. That's why he was irresponsible and she died. No, that's not why she says it. She tells him as a reminder to keep remembering this while he carries along, and it weighs a ton on him. And I think it's good. If we would have done it through Uncle Ben and said that, like the first movie, it would have been too familiar. It would have been, okay, we're seeing this again, you know? Instead, Marvel waited until Peter had lived enough life to understand it. He lived enough as Spider-Man to understand what those words meant and how heavy they were. They say heavy is the head that wears the crown, and that's what happened. So if you don't understand and think it's how we got to a third movie and we were waiting for him to say this and it took him so long, no, they knew what they were doing. They were building it up. Peter had to go through a lot to finally hear it and understand these words. And for people to sit there and just gaslight people and be like, No, it was dumb. They should have never waited. He should always knew. He should have got said in the beginning. No, this was perfect timing. Peter was at a time where things were slowly getting stripped away from him, and now he's realizing that he has to start making decisions not just based off how he uses his powers, but based off people around him. And Ant-Man was showing him, you do the right thing for everybody else, but now what's next? What happens now? I didn't look out for Aunt May. Is it my fault? It wasn't his fault. Not at all. She was there at the wrong time. She was the one that said, let's go save these people. He was the one questioning it. But now he knows with those words that it's very, very important. And it actually makes him understand what that idea and feeling means. It's not being told at the last second before someone dies or like 20 minutes before they die. Those are all, again, going to affect you a certain way. But building this way up makes it totally different. And I think it's a huge payoff that people don't see. And like when Peter's like helping them, he's like, people are always like, why did he help him? Whatever. Again, it was Aunt May mainly, but he was trying to do the right thing. And again, I said with Raimi's trilogy, they made them all be sympathizers, and it's like Lizard, you're supposed to sympathize with. Sandman, you're supposed to sympathize with. Electro, you're supposed to sympathize with. And granted, Electro, I think, just died or whatever, but no one was a villain to be a villain. Like Venom was a villain. Green Goblin from the second one was a villain. The first Green Goblin really wasn't. He was just tormented. So all these people we were supposed to sympathize with, and now you're okay with that then, but now that they're doing it now you're a little pissy about it. And the funny thing is, people were like, this dude, I don't know who the fuck his name is. I think, does it say it? I don't know. It doesn't say his name. Does it tag him? No, it doesn't. For everyone out there, clean out your ears on this part. This isn't fan service to bring these people back. Marvel was not rebooting to do Brand New Day. They were fixing their fuck ups from Raimi stories and Garfield stories, or Raimi and whoever directed those. Let's say Toby stories and Andrew stories. They were fixing those fuck ups. Because if you notice, what happened? There was resolutions. A lot of things happened. We got Electro being cool, looking normal. When he showed up, he was badass, yellow and green. He had the face. He got closure. He got his redemption. Look at these other people. Green Goblin. They fixed him. When he showed up, he's fucking badass Green Goblin. He didn't need the mask. Watch the fucking fight scene at the end. I just did. The blade comes out like crazy. He didn't need the mask even. They redeemed the shit that was in that last one. And I just can't believe people are going crazy about like, oh, well, they're going to fix Brand New Day. They are literally fixing the fuck ups of the other ones. And do you know what the biggest fucking thing is? Like, listen again. They fixed the Peter Parkers in the last one. Just sit with that for a second. You're going to not like that, but they did. First of all, the Peter Parkers in this movie are the best versions I've ever seen of them in any movie. And if you want to take that away and say, nope, Andrew Garfield was better in 1 and 2 than he was in Far From Home. No. Fuck no. Andrew Garfield was brilliant in Far From Home. His attitude, his swag, the way he talked, his emotional moments, killed it. Knocked out any performance in those older ones. Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire? Let's talk a little about him. You're telling me in 1 through 3 that Tobey was as well done as a Tobey in Far From Home. Far From Home killed it. That Tobey was Spider-Man. He wasn't a dork. He wasn't corny. He wasn't stuffing his face with hot dogs and dumb shit. It was a growner, old up Peter that seemed like a 30-year-old Peter Parker. He wasn't over extravagant. He was calm in his demeanor, but he was smart. He was intelligent. It was Peter Parker, and he played it well. He made Peter Parker so good. And again, go through the whole fucking trilogy and tell me where he played him better. No, it's gonna be in the train scene when they carry him over. No, he's not doing anything there. Him being a character, him being Peter Parker. Tell me when he's being Peter Parker. Besides, I'm gonna take your picture for the newspaper. Go back to that and go back to him talking. Him having actual conversations with them. These are the best versions of Peter Parker we've ever seen. And why they did it? To fix the fuck ups from the original ones. That's why they did it. We weren't fixing Brand New Day around here. We were fixing the older movies. And you can say, no, they weren't. I think they found this as a point where we could give them some redemption. Oh, what can we redeem them for? What can we do? They never got closure. Spider-Man 3 didn't get closure. He got that slow dance away with, Mary Jane. Cool. Did you feel anything at Spider-Man 3? No one feel anything. No one gave a shit. But what happens? He talks to Peter Holland. We'll go by Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3. Peter 2 tells Peter 1 that he found the killer and I killed him and nothing changed. This is character developing. This is Spider-Man 1 learning from Spider-Man 2 that we've all been through this. And that's one of the best scenes in like many Marvel movies ever, is them three talking, because we're relating through decades of Spider-Man movies that all have gone through the same pain, and we've watched them all. Regardless if they're good, bad, we didn't like this one, we didn't like that actor. They act fucking out of their minds in that part when he tells them that they need to go. Like, he's not even like shooken up that, who are you? But I think he puts it all together and then tells them like, I'm done with this. Again, I just watched it right now, and he's like, just go. I'm sorry I brought you guys into this, and they are not leaving this. We're all Peter Parker, and it gets very emotional talking about with great power comes great responsibility. They kind of saved it for a good moment, if you ask me, because now he gets to factor it in with the other Spider-Man. He brings it up. Why? It's fresh. So finally he gets to say it, and he says it with them, and they refer to why it meant something to them. He lost Uncle Ben. The other one lost Uncle Ben, but of course he lost Gwen Stacy. That hit him harder when he was talking about it. And their reactions to this story of them gulping and tears, how do you not say these aren't the best versions of them ever? This is them acting the best I've ever seen them act. And they're good actors. This is the best I've ever seen them act in a Spider-Man movie. Hands down. I will go to bat. You can put me on a live stream and I will debate you. All I can keep saying in a debate is like, he's better, they're better, they're better. I don't know what else to do. But I'll tell you, there's no emotion, captivating moment that had in any of those older movies that outdone how they acted in that movie. Nothing. The meeting up and hanging out as a group, them talking, it's so casual. Those guys were so happy to be on that set. My back, this and that. You know, you fought a guy in space. All of that. Best representations of those characters ever. And we got this older, mature Spider-Man that has gone through it all. And now he's basically settled down and he's used to being Spider-Man. Yeah, I keep my identity a secret. Then we have Garfield, kind of a little reckless, but he talked about he wasn't pulling punches and he went through a hard time after Gwen. So he's just getting his bearings together. These are all Peters at different times. And people take this all away and just say, oh, Far From Home is just fun. It's just fan service. It's just fun. No, it's really deep, and it really connects to all the original movies, and it's paying homage and also respect to the ones that the good that were out of those. And most importantly, the good out of them were Toby and Andrew. They were the good things out of those, out of anything. Of course, there were some good actors in between it and all that, but they're the ones that were the main characters, and they're the ones that suffered when people were upset, and they got redemption. And the biggest redemption for them, they got book and closings. Andrew Garfield was him throwing a manhole at Rhino, and that was his end story. We didn't know there was going to be a number 3 or whatever. Tobey Maguire dances away the night. No, in this we heard that they went through rough times and they made it, right? Kind of a bookend. But no, Tom Holland is about to stab Green Goblin, and Toby or Peter too, without saying one fucking word. You feel the emotion. He grabs the glider and nudges back while Holland's pulling back. You feel that tension going back and forth. Toby doesn't want him to go through that. Peter 2 doesn't want him to go through that. Peter 2 doesn't want him to go through what he had to go through, to hold that anger that he held. He doesn't need to go there. And that wasn't the plan. The plan was to save all them. That was the plan. So we get this huge long story from back in the fucking 2000s or whatever, that this Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Spidey 2, learned so much from being that Spider-Man, character development, and he stops Peter 1 from, every time I say Peter 1 I think of Andrew Garfield going, Peter 3, like they're just so happy to be Spider-Man together. It's just such a good thing. I love it so much. But he stops him from making a mistake that he doesn't want him to do. He killed the killer of Uncle Ben, and it did nothing for him. It probably hurt him more, because after it's done, it's just over and you feel empty. And of course we don't want the person around being able to do stuff, but it showed a big thing when they made it with Sandman or whatever. He got all focused on that, and just this scene showed volumes and closed the chapter on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Granted, we may get them back, but far as right now, it gave the loop, the full circle, to where he learned, and I'm passing it on to this Spider-Man. Now, let's go a little bit further. Andrew Garfield, Spider 3. We are going to lose MJ. She is flying, dropping. Spider-Man 1 can't save her. What happens? Very emotional moment. Spider-Man 3 goes and catches her. Now, wait, was this all just made up on a whim? This was all just to do, to fix a movie, right? This wasn't made to have stakes or emotions. We just made this movie so we get Brand New Day, right? Please, motherfucker. Please. This was a redemption for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. For Spider-Man 3 to get that moment. He got that moment, and it's probably up there for me for one of the best moments in the MCU. Literally, till this day, I get choked up. Him holding her, looking at her, trying to hold back his tears, and MJ's just like shocked and messed up. Are you okay? And he's just like, yeah, kind of like I'm fine right now. That moment gave him some kind of closure, what he was going through. He's never getting Gwen back, but he just saved this guy's Gwen, and he's not gonna have to go through what he's gone through. He knows when he caught MJ what that meant, and he knows how much it hurts that he couldn't have caught Emma or Gwen. He hurts. This should have been me catching Emma. But I think at the end of the day, he kind of smiles with it. He did the right thing, and he's glad he saved her. And he even compared her earlier. She was my MJ. So for him to do that, he got this huge bookend closure. He got a moment where it all made sense. He felt okay. And if you don't see that on his face, I'm not gonna be a guy that says you don't understand movies, you don't understand acting, you don't understand expressions. But on his face, this is truly meant to sell that moment. If you don't get it, pause it, I guess, on that scene and watch his face when he's holding her. His gears in his head are turning. They're turning. And he's going through all these motions. Like I said, this should have been Emma, or it should have been Gwen. It should have been Gwen. But I saved her. Peter 1 doesn't have to lose his Gwen. And all this goes in through seconds, but you know what he's thinking. I would hope you do, because I'm not a brainiac, I'm not some rocket scientist, but I clearly could see, just from watching the movies, reading comics, you kind of get storytelling. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but this is very easy to see that he went through something in that moment, and he got closure. So not only do we fix Peter 2 and Peter 3 and giving them great moments to close off their story, it fixed a lot that was wrong with the other movies that people tried to debate with. And this movie was not so much to reboot Spider-Man, it was trying to pay homage and fix the things they didn't do right with the other ones. We got Green Goblin saved and healthy. We got Lizard saved. We got Sandman to meet his daughter again. Dr. Octopus, everyone could bitch like, oh, they all got that. Dude, we were supposed to feel bad for him in the other movies. I hated that we didn't get evil people. They were literally, you felt bad. Literally, Goblin dies and says, don't tell Harry. And it's like, you're supposed to feel guilty about it. We didn't get, evil villains. We got it, in Spider-Man 2 with Green Goblin, kind of. He didn't care about that. And I think it just all speaks volumes of no one's looking at that. They're not looking at how much they put in to pay so much respect to the original ones and let these characters rest. Let them finally be at rest. And on top of that, let them be fucking cool. I mean, Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3 scenes. Oh, man. The chemistry. the whole talk about finding people on space and like, wait, or where'd you get the web from, and all that. Like, you're an Avenger? Is that a band? Like, just stop. Don't tell me these guys were better in their other movies. These are Peter Parkers, 100%. I am sad that MCU never got to make those Peter Parkers in this. Much as I like Tom Holland's probably as my favorite because he feels the most like a Marvel Universe Peter Parker. These guys are different stages of Peter Parker, and I enjoy them thoroughly in that movie because they gave them a chance to play it again and show what they were meant to be, and they were able to play the correct way Peter should have been played. Not this bumbling geek, this emo dude that gets his shit together at the end, but then kind of just seems like a underdog that still, he won, but he's kind of underdog. Then the one that lost everything, that was too cool looking. These guys all came off right in this movie, and I don't get how people didn't follow that. If they didn't see that, I don't understand. Like, it blows my mind that people couldn't see that we were giving redemption to all this, and they're fixing that. They weren't fixing Homecoming or Far From Home. Pay attention. They weren't fixing those. They were fixing the prior universes and making them work to the point that maybe they will come back someday. I don't know. I'd rather not, because I think they got perfect endings. Even watching it just right now, them an arm in arm, and Peter One trying to explain to him what it means to him and how happy, and he just can't talk, and they say, we know. Like, they're Peters, they get it, that's what we do. Chef's kiss, bow, top of the box, cherry on top. It summed up their whole stories. They're all moving on from what happened. They knew they had to do this. They told him that they were going to help him when they're on the bridge or wherever they're at on top. I forgot. I don't know if it's the Captain America Statue of Liberty yet or whatever. But it was very clear this was all meant to be full circle and the end of their stories. And I was glad to see it. And I was very happy that Toby got recognition that he deserved. Very happy Andrew Garfield got recognition that he deserved. Because last thing you remember about Tobey Maguire is him being an emo meme. That's the most you remember from the last time he was out. Garfield, we remember him just being in love the whole time through the last movie and fighting a horrible Electro that made no sense, and fighting a goblin that looked like a little demon for no reason. It all didn't add up. The best thing, like I said in the video, watch it, it was a romance through all that movie. And then the real meaning of great responsibility starts to come really into play at this point, because he's accepting the consequences of his choices. Peter calls the spell. Peter calls the villains to arrive. Peter believes fixing it belongs to him. The mindset is Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man. He has to do these things. So I don't know if people don't... I just hate it because I don't want to make it like people are dumb, but how do you not like this dude? Like, you had to wait this long to hear great power comes great responsibility? Yeah, it was a build-up. They knew what they were doing. Unless you want to fuck on them and just be like, you guys sucked. You guys were fucking up. You made a horrible Spider-Man 1. You made a horrible Spider-Man 2. Then you had to fix it with Spider-Man 3. Fuck the writers. Fuck the editors. Fuck the directors. They didn't know what they were doing. No, they did. They had a plan. I guarantee you maybe the third one wasn't going to have all the Spider-Man in it, but they knew what they're going to do. They knew Aunt May was going to die. They knew she was going to deliver that line. 100%. I will bet everything I own, which is nothing, that was planned for her to die in the third one, because they're going to cap off the trilogy, go full circle, start a new trilogy, which they said they're already going to do. So after Brand New Day comes out and the next movie, are you going to say they're going to reboot it with the third one again? No. It's probably going to be another time for him to grow, if they keep him going. Who knows with Tom Holland. And then we get the biggest thing. At the end, we get him telling Strange, if everyone forgets, will everything go back to normal? And basically, yeah. He doesn't want to say, make everyone forget Spider-Man. It'd work the same. If everyone would forget Spider-Man, I don't understand how different it worked. You can explain to me, maybe there'd be different loopholes through, I don't know. But if I think about it, there was no Spider-Man, maybe people didn't get saved, but Peter was there for the other times. Peter was all the times there when MJ dating. She just didn't. She saw Spider-Man as maybe he wasn't even there. Maybe things didn't happen. Maybe that whole fight didn't happen. Maybe people died from it. And I think that's the consequence. Is if I don't stay Spider-Man, if people forget me, was I there the whole time? And if I was there, are all these people just gonna see Spider-Man as this person and then he's gone? But then if he's gone and we don't know he's gone, how do you forget something that's gone? So it just doesn't make sense. So if he says, make Spider-Man go away, because Peter Parker didn't go away, it's just no one remembered Peter Parker being Spider-Man. He wanted everyone to forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. He didn't say, let's make Spider-Man go away and let me just be Peter Parker. We could fix this. I don't have to be Spider-Man anymore. Just like he said when he was on top of the tower, I'm done with this. I'm done. But with great power comes great responsibility. He decided that I'm not going to give up being Spider-Man because I can't. That's not me. That's not what the Peters do. That's not what MA wanted. And they even told him that when she was like, they're going to save them. They told her, like, this is what she wanted. And I think in those moments where he could have easily said, just make everyone forget about Spider-Man. Just let Peter Parker be me. Let me be me. Whatever. And it's a sacrifice. Everyone's going to forget him. Not Spider-Man. But he just sacrifices his future too. His love with MJ, his friend Ned, being with the Avengers, those Avengers remembering him, his happiness, but protecting people more, continuing to be Spider-Man meant more to him than erasing Spider-Man and just people knowing Peter Parker. Make Spider-Man be forgotten. He did all the things he did before, but now he's gone. People remember that he saved stuff, but he's no more. And it's just me now. I'm Peter Parker. I'm living life. How easy would that have been? Easy. Everyone's like, why didn't he do that? Because, man, he knew Spider-Man has to stay around. He has a responsibility that he just got weighed on him like a ton of bricks. That you're supposed to help people. And that's what they do. And it's the fullest expression of the quote. For us to wait the whole blah, 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 it was timed. If you couldn't connect those dots with that final sacrifice scene, cool, I'm sorry, but I'm not telling you to dig into it, to get cliff notes, to read a side comic, to watch DVD features, to hear a Tom Holland interview. It's just watching it. I thought most people would understood that making that sacrifice to save everyone and not him, basically, and let him still continue being Spider-Man even though it means being alone again, that was him being the Spider-Man. It was being responsible, and that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be responsible. So everything through all these stories, everything that he learned, he gained and stuff, it's all still there. But the physical things, the suits, the tech, even like the emotion still remains. He went through all that. We're not gonna get Brand New Day and everything's over and he doesn't remember all what happened, the pain, people not remembering him. You literally see in the trailers they talk about he's not remembered. He meets MJ and Ned and they don't know who he is. So you're trying to say, yeah, that movie erased all that. No, all those things happen. They're still affecting to this day. There's a reason why he's sad. There's a reason why she's wearing a necklace from Far From Home. It doesn't make sense to me when someone like this has this hot take that they think they're rebooting it because it was bad. It was all planned out. And to say the final responsibility line, all of it was planned. I just don't understand how people don't get this. How they don't understand how they did this to try to fix the prior universes, to give them closure and give the kudos to those actors that play them. And they were so appreciative watching their interviews afterwards. They were so happy to be brought back, and they got the red carpet treatment. People watch the audience reactions. I don't care if you're like, oh well, because they're known as this and that. They didn't have to bring them back. They didn't have to bring them back for nostalgia, for nothing. They could have just made a movie without them and still told a good story. People are going to go see Spider-Man. It doesn't matter. The biggest thing is they're trying to keep it a secret. They didn't want anyone to know about it. It was supposed to be a surprise, but everyone found out somehow. And it's just the way it is. But the whole point of it is they didn't do it for you to feel, oh, I remember those. They made it so these Peters and those actors get to finally finish their story that they really didn't get to finish, and left bad taste in people's mouth. And if you're gonna tell me like, no, Spider-Man 3 ended Peter's life correctly, no, get the fuck out of here. It was funky. It was like he was with Mary Jane and she was god awful. At least he said it was rough with them and he got it fixed, so maybe she changed her personality. And Garfield was suffering, and they talk about that, and they talk about how he went through it, and you know, he's going through a different time where he's getting through it. And I think this movie, that Peter in this movie, was actually evolving along with the other Peters, mainly with Peter 1 evolving with him and growing from this. And they all found brothers, and that was a huge thing for both of them, all of them too. It's weird because they're the same person, but they all fucking loved each other, and they all wanted just to be with that person because it meant so much. And then someone to get you on that level, someone to understand you, it meant the world. So them being able to bring them in was a big deal on its own, but it wasn't for nostalgia. It wasn't for a reboot. It was meant to tell a story. And on top of it, it was meant to give them their credit where credit was due, to give them their flowers for everything those guys did. And I just thank those guys for putting everything they've been through. Shitty movies, shitty stories, bad press, good press, but they got their send-offs. And they didn't just appear and fight for a little bit. They got crucial moments, crucial dialogue that shaped the Peter we're getting in Brand New Day. Even though those guys are never going to know him again, and I guess it's dumb because we had to erase it. No, Peter's going to remember all these things, and Peter is going to take that into consideration. Not to mention that organic webbing. I'm sure he's going to think about Toby. And the emotion that is filled in this movie, even with Doctor Strange telling him goodbye, and he's like, everyone that loved you, we would, and he stops because he's about to say, we would miss you or whatever. Killer, dude. Killer. And I know people aren't going to really argue with this movie because that's so many good things, but for me to sit there and make this be just a cop-out movie, and people are like, no, he meant that it was a really good movie, but it's just a reset on top of it. No, it was really good, but it was meant to change things in a different way. They did it almost backwards in a way. We saw Spider-Man. Actually, Spider-Man never gets everything he wants. I shouldn't say backwards, but he kind of got the setup of the great treatment, the treatment of being wanted and then wanting to be somebody, then being amongst the stars in a way, and having his moments with Tony, you know, finally getting that hug and just everything. This whole roller coaster. It was a different story, and instead of him losing and then gaining a little bit and losing, gaining a little bit like most Spider-Man do, he got a lot of stuff, but along those ways he was learning things. But now, yes, they're ripping it all from him, but does that mean they're erasing it? No, they're not erasing it. They're adding to his development. They're adding to his story. This Peter has seen some shit. He's not waking up in Brand New Day like the comic where he doesn't remember all what happened. He's remembering everything that happened, and that's the horror and the torment in the story, is he has to go see MJ in the coffee shop and Ned and say jack shit. People that he ride or died with. And again, I mentioned the chemistry with Ned and Mary Jane. You miss that interaction with them already because he can't do it, and he has the letter written out to her. He keeps rehearsing it, and he can't do it. Now, this might be a spoiler. I don't know if people will know or not because this is gonna be right before Brand New Day. Rumors, it's Mary Jane, so don't listen to it if you don't want to hear anything. Or not Mary Jane, Firestar, joking, Jean Grey. So stop listening. But rumor is she is Jean Grey, and this is Comic-Con already going on now. I don't think they've confirmed it yet. Comic-Con is over, but they haven't confirmed it yet. But there is a rumor that she, out of all people, would make sense, can give Mary Jane and Ned their memory back. And supposedly, Peter tells her no, because he doesn't think it's right. It's not the right way to do it. And I think that'd be an easy way to retell the story, to get them to come back and not forget everything that happened. But I think it's supposed to speak volumes on Peter that he wants this to happen his way or naturally, or like how MJ said, I'm gonna find out who you are. I already did it before. He's not gonna go the easy way. He's not gonna just let Jean Grey do that. So if that is part of the movie, that's huge growth for me. That you would an easy way to fix things just for the two people that you love the most because you lost your aunt, and you could fix this. If that happens and he doesn't let them, huge growth, man. Like, that'd be such a hard thing to let go, that you can make the person you love more than anything, and your best friend that means more than anything, remember you, but you think this isn't the right way to do it because it's not the more responsible way to do it. With great power comes great responsibility. I just think it's such a big deal and it speaks volumes if that does happen. So spoiler if it does happen. If it doesn't, whatever. So this isn't Marvel resetting Peter. It's a visual storytelling. Peter has lost everything. He's still making another suit, you know, and you can tell he's getting influences kind of from the other suits. He still goes out, you know, at the end. And this isn't a closure, him getting a bookend to where his final story is done. This is the arc where we go to the next comic story. I don't know how many people out there read comics, but when it's a long story, like let's say the other, that we think a lot of it's going to take a lot of the influences in this next movie is going to take place from or take a little bit from the other, which I don't think they're going to take a lot because there's a lot going on with the other. But the other is like 12 issues. You got to wait every 2 weeks or something to read it. Then it's done. The next comic comes out like it didn't really happen, but then it did because he's grown from it or whatever. But he's not thinking about, oh, I remember when I was doing this before or whatever. They kind of just move on and keep telling the story. The ramifications are there. The people are still in his life and all that. But this is what I feel like this movie is ending, is that comic, and I'm going to the next comic. And that story has told its story, but now Peter's going into his other story. We're not forgetting what happened. It happened. And some of those elements are actually carrying over. It's not like the other words on its own, then we go to another thing, we don't forget anything. It's still weighing on him that they don't know him. It's still weighing on him that he is lost and alone. They're like, oh, we're giving the Peter that we finally needed. Sure. If you really wanted Peter to be rock bottom in the beginning, and that's not how Peter Parker ever started. I know he has Parker luck, they call it, but he never started from the bottom. Like, he always had, you know, Hal's home, Aunt May, Uncle Ben. Then he loses Uncle Ben, and then he learns things. But this was a little different. Again, I like things that are modernized, and I like little tweaks sometimes that make it work. If it tells a good story, I don't mind it. If you made Peter Parker get bit by a pig and became Spider-Man, yes, I would have a problem. I would say, yeah, that's a little tweak I don't like. Why does he have spider powers and he got bit by a pig? Something stupid, but I'm just saying. In general, I'm okay with small things. And this whole setup was a payoff, and I was fine with this payoff. I'm not going to cry like this dude and say, when I left this movie, I didn't feel like this or whatever. Fine. You can have that feeling. I will talk to you about it all day. But you don't need to shit on things. You can just have your feeling, and then we can openly talk about it. But to not understand the goal of a movie sometimes just bothers me. Because there's movies I watch and I get the goal of it, I just don't like it. For me, a lot of the things that I've talked about in this series went over people's head. It seemed like why this didn't work or why this did work and why, you know, and it almost is upsetting. Like, are you just watching a screen but not thinking? Like, I do that with like Transformers and like Fast and the Furious. I'm just watching a screen and I'm not thinking. Don Toretto just flew from one car and landed in glass and another, and he's fine. I'm not thinking. With these guys, they're people I grew up with. These are superheroes I love. They reflect in my everyday life. They're tattooed all over me. My son's named after one. It's a huge thing. So when I watch it, I break it down a little bit more. I'm not saying I'm special. There might be a million people out there like that. But I'm telling you personally from me. And there are times where I've walked out and I haven't felt great. But most of the times when I walk out and don't feel great, I usually have to digest it a little bit. Understand why do I not feel this way. And this kind of happened with the Doom trailer. And I made a video about it. I digested a lot, and I kind of came back with my thoughts. And there's both good and bad for what happened during that trailer. Seeing the new trailer now, I'm a little more optimistic. But we're getting Doom in a movie. Who cares? You know, it's exciting. But you do worry about long-term stuff because you care about the universe. You don't care about just getting that climax, busting a nut over getting a cool character. But it's like, if you're gonna give it to me good, give it to me right. So I get it, and I understand walking out not feeling great. But again, I don't know how much they chewed on it once they walked out, because there are times I've walked out of movies and been like, man, I didn't really care for that. But when other people are like, I'm loving it because of this and kind of that, and this was great, it makes me want to hear them out. It makes me want to understand a little bit more. And sometimes I hear people go, I need to watch it again. True, you might, and you might not change your opinion. You may not change your opinion, and that's fine. You don't have to change your opinion. It's just good to be open and just not shit on everything. And I know kind of sound contradicting, because I am shitting on people sometimes, a way they think about stuff, because sometimes people are so strong on things, I get irritated, and I do come off shitting back at them, and I hate that I do that. But it's gross all around. It's something I shouldn't do either. But it's just almost to the point where it's like, you don't like something I like, then fuck you. You get a little irritable. But I could bring it to the Man of Steel debate. I don't think Man of Steel is good. I think there's things from it that's good. I think visually it's stunning. For a super movie, not really. Doesn't work for me. But there's a bunch of other things. But I don't like Man of Steel. And people can explain to me a lot of times everything. Do you not get this? Do you not get that? I'll explain to them what I don't get and why I don't get it, and why it bugged me. And a lot of times it's a core belief. It's, this doesn't feel like Superman. And that will be my biggest argument against that. This isn't what I've read. This isn't the character. This isn't his morals. This isn't the vibe. This isn't his aura. This isn't the colors. A lot pushes me from that. Now, when I see Spider-Man, I want to hear someone say, this doesn't fit the vibe. That's not Peter. That's not Spider-Man. How? Oh, because he wants to be a superhero really bad in Homecoming. Yeah, he just saved like people at Civil War. He's excited to be a superhero now. He keeps bugging Happy. He wants to go fight crime. He's been doing petty shit in a ski mask this whole time. He got to fight next to Captain America, right? He got to fight next to Captain America. Of course he wants to go out and fight again. So my thing is, when you judge a character in a movie or a superhero movie, bring the proper arguments to it. And if the argument is, why is he acting this way? See if there's an explanation for it. Why did Superman snap Zod's neck? Because there's nothing else he can do. That's not true. He could have flew away, took him with him. No, but he couldn't, because these people, no, he could have done this. When it's drastic and it changes the course of a character and it has effects to, it splits the community where they're like, this isn't my character, that is the problem. Peter Parker wanting to be Spider-Man after he got an outing with the Avengers and wanting to be an Avenger makes complete sense of the story they're telling. With the story they're telling of Superman snapping a neck, that doesn't make sense for Superman to do that. Superman doesn't do that. Peter Parker, at times in life, he wanted to be Spider-Man. Eventually he came with the idea of great power, of course, where he knew he had to be it, but it's part of the character. Superman, for example, was out of character. So them saying Spider-Man should have been all into school and he should have been not, no, he's past that. We're past that. Imagine that all that shit happened already, and now we're at the point where, yeah, he's loving being Spider-Man, like in Ultimate Spider-Man. He enjoys being Spider-Man. Imagine when Spider-Man and Sam Raimi's, when he's jumping off the building screaming yoo-hooing, which is very corny, but he was excited to be Spider-Man and have these powers. It gets to certain points, but does it ruin the character? No. It's the same character, same stories. We're getting the blueprint for each one the same way. We're just telling it differently. Some not really well, some really good the way they plan it out. So when you walk out of a theater and you don't feel a certain way, I get it. I totally have been there, and I 100% understand. And, you know, I get that gripe. But again, I think, what are you mad about? Or what are you not happy with? And I feel like there are things I haven't been happy with, but I feel like I could do a laundry list of what's bugging me and what they bring up to counter it. Doesn't really counter it, I guess I could say. It just, their opinion I'm trying to think of the best way to say it, like their opinion on what I'm thinking, not what they're doing, not what the story's doing, but the story's reflecting the character. So again, Spider-Man being excited to be Spider-Man, that's nothing out of character. That's happened a lot of times when he's young. As an adult, oh my gummer, not as an adult, so not so much, because it's a burden almost on him, because he's got to be Spider-Man, he's got to save the world, he's got responsibilities, but that's not out of character. So thinking he's different and not looking at where he came from, or we didn't get this or we didn't get that, they set him up perfectly. Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. That's my truth of the live action Spider-Mans. I love Andrew Garfield, great actor. I like him more than Tobey as Spider-Man, but Tobey was the guinea pig, and they were trying really hard to do Stan Lee's Spider-Man, and unfortunately over the years it just turned to nostalgia, and I feel it fell flat. I will still watch them, I will still tell you they're not bad movies besides Spider-Man 3. I don't think Spider-Man 3 even has good parts in it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of scenes that I just think are bad. So many lines that are bad, like the butler was cleaning the wound. But you know, I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man's really. They did way too off trying to change things, and that's fine. I've mentioned that in other videos. It's cool to experiment, but when you go a little too far left, it's sometimes bad. But I still enjoyed Andrew Garfield being Peter Parker, and I enjoyed Tobey Maguire, but they're just different vibes, and some aged not as well, and some aged kind of awkwardly, and then we got them to now, and guess what? Marvel Studios knew how to handle them. We got the best versions of them. So I think overall it's cool, and I can say honestly and not argue with people all the time, say yes, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. He looks like Spider-Man at the right age. We're growing up with him. We've seen him go through high school. He's going through college now. We're going to see him go into adulthood. This is 4 years after graduating for them. So he's an adult Spider-Man now. Hopefully we get to the 30-year-old Spider-Man that I want to see that Tobey Maguire is, the older Spider-Man. We have got the best ride. He's connected with the coolest characters in the world. He's fought against Thanos. Even his villains have been done super well. Mysterio, again, read a Mysterio fucking comic and look at how they did him in the movie. It's just so crazy how well they took the ideas of what he does in the comic and put it in actual movie. It's just nuts. Vulture, read a Vulture comic. The only time like I think people probably thought he was a threat was when he took the young serum crap. But watch him in Homecoming. Don't fucking lie to me and tell me Michael Keaton wasn't money. Michael Keaton was so he was almost Green Goblin creepy the way he talked to him. Yeah, they did a good job. Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man. Don't know why. I mean, I guess Far From Home or No Way Home would be my favorite just because it closed so many loopholes. It paid off so much. We got so much. Willem Dafoe was Green Goblin finally. Not cheesy, not corny. He was scary the whole time. Alfred Molina is Dr. Octopus. We got Electro correctly. Lizard we didn't get much. Sandman we didn't get much. I think they were limited. But No Way Home gave me so much hope with how they did things and they corrected things. So it kind of sucks because these are my skepticisms that we may not get a Green Goblin now. Will we? It'd be kind of weird because he's already faced a Green Goblin. Will we get Electro because he's already faced an Electro? I don't know how that's all going to work, honestly. But for what it is, Far From Home, No Way Home. No Way Home is my favorite Spider-Man movie. Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man. And out of the villains, just Spider-Man villains specifically, I think I'd even go with Green Goblin in the No Way Home. They just did Green Goblin so well. He didn't need makeup. He didn't need a helmet. He was creepy just as Norman Osborn. And it doesn't hurt that William Dafoe looks scary as fuck as himself looking creepy. Like watching that fight scene was so good. How creepy and how he talks and like blames his death on Aunt May's death on him. Yeah, it's Green Goblin's probably my favorite villain just because of Far From Home. No Way Home. Fuck! Keep saying the wrong one. No Way Home. No Way Home. No Way Home was my favorite. Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man, and Green Goblin's my favorite villain from No Way Home. No Way Home did bring the best out of everybody, and brought a lot together and fixed a lot of the older movies and made them good. So this was my quest on the live action Spider-Mans, and if you hung on for this whole journey, I appreciate it. I'm gonna see how long have I been. Usually these all been like an hour and a half. We're about the hour and a half point. I feel bad because no one's gonna watch this all through hour and a half, but I hope maybe someday they just put it on the background while they type up things and they listen to me talk and they want to comment like, hey, I disagree, or hey, you're dumb, anything. I just want to talk about it, and I honestly wanted to get out my thoughts. We're getting into Brand New Day, and you know, I disagree that we're getting a reboot. Brand New Day matters because everything Peter lost. He's without Tony, Aunt May, MJ, Ned, you know, Happy. The loneliness is it means something. And without the first trilogy, that weight wouldn't be on Brand New Day. So I mean, I've been here. I went through the all the appearances of Spider-Man. I've been asking different questions of these films. What Peter Parker got everything, you know, Spider-Man usually doesn't. A mentor, Avenger, recognition, friends who knew his identity. This is what I went to a lot to Tom Holland, that he got a lot of these things. He got a mentor, he got to be an Avenger, he got recognition, he got to have friends who knew his identity. He had a support system. It was a very different Spider-Man than we ever have seen before. And his purpose changed a lot of different times through it. And so with ending all this, this was a journey of going through all these and then finally coming to the part where, yes, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. And maybe it's not because of Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland's a great actor. I think he's probably the best actor. I think Andrew Garfield's a really good actor, though. But Tobey's... it's hard because Tobey's knocked me out with some parts he's made. It's just hard. But Tom Holland feels he fits Spider-Man the best. If them three were standing next to each other and they're, which one's Peter Parker, I would pick Tom Holland. And even if you put them at the ages they were when they started Spider-Man, put them next to each other, put the glasses on Tobey, Andrew Garfield with the cool hair, and little Tommy Tom, I would pick Tom Holland every time if we're going off looks. But yeah, Tom Holland's my favorite. Far From Home is probably my favorite movie just because it brings everything all together. He learns the most out of that movie. Like I said, first one, he learns he's not ready to be Avenger. Second one, he needs to let things go. He can't become that big superhero that he feels like that was left on his shoulders. And then 3, he has to ultimately sacrifice things to understand with what great power comes great responsibility. That was the whole first chapter. You know, this was the transformation, and I think people misunderstood what Marvel was trying to build up from the beginning. It wasn't about skipping Spider-Man's journey. It was watching Peter Parker earn it. He was earning all these things that he developed through the storyline. And not earning like as a good thing, like you're earning money in a way, but earning the lessons, learning the problems, earning the lessons, earning the problems. Like these came to him, not even sometimes in a positive way, but as an audience, we were getting these given to us to give a character his story, his arc. There was no safety net, you know. No one waited for him at home. Just Peter Parker and Spider-Man. That isn't the end of the story for Spider-Man. When we get what we have now, where no one's there for him and no one's at home for him and he has nothing. This isn't the end of us erasing a trilogy like this cat said. This isn't that. This is a new start. Not a reboot, not a reset. It's a different vibe now. He doesn't got the people he used to lean on. He doesn't got that mentor anymore. He doesn't have that team anymore. He's truly fell to the most rock bottom we've seen a live action Spider-Man ever fall. We've never seen Peter fall this hard. You can even go to number 2 when he loses powers. I mean, that gets comical at points when he's like eating hot dogs and watching people get beat up. I get it, but he's not rock bottom like he is at this point. When he's emo Spider-Man, he's not rock bottom. He's cocky and arrogant. this all set up for Brand New Day for us to get a stripped Peter that learned almost too many lessons the hard way. He has burdens on him. He has scars on him. He has pain on him. And now he's changing. You don't know what the hell's going on. And from what I heard from the ending, it's going to be really crazy. So poor Peter is getting thrown around everywhere. But the best thing about Tom Holland's Peter Parker is he keeps everything connected. Everybody connects to him somehow. Whether it's Nick Fury, Tony Stark, Captain America, hey Queens, Captain Marvel, and even all these villains and the other Peters, he was a glue. That Peter Parker. And I hope we'll get to see from this day forward, he continues to be the glue. And from what it sounds like, things I've been reading about, he may be someone very important in the future movies. I think there's a reason why we haven't seen him in Doomsday. But that's for a whole nother video. And I can't wait to see Brand New Day. I can't wait to see where we go with this. But this was my perspective on live action Spider-Man. If you watch through all these, I really appreciate it. Sorry if I come off as a dick sometimes or a jerk sometimes. It's just I'm very passionate about Spider-Man, and I'm really passionate about the vision of Spider-Man. And I really think being an MCU simp, I guess you could say, but I look at things from a broader look, because MCU is fucked up on so many things. I can make a list right now, but one thing was not messed up with Spider-Man. He's the best Spider-Man that's been on live action. And I think honestly Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would agree that he's probably got the best treatment, the best respect, the best development. And it's not fair too with them having access to the MCU. That helps them a lot, but a lot else could have been done in the other movies, and unfortunately not having so much access, not being able to take risks, staying too safe at times, it just was rough. But luckily in this world they're able to take some chances and get a great kid to play them, and it's working. And as the hat guy says, I don't know their name still, you're breaking my heart when he says Homecoming wasn't good. Heart's not meant to be broken. If they don't like Homecoming, sucks to be them. Homecoming's a great movie, and you really get to enjoy Peter's journey. And I'm glad we're at where we're at now. And we're about meeting that hour-and-a-half point where I doubt people are even here. But if you are here, like I say, you're a cool person. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me. Even if you disagree with me and you're mad at the end of this video, regardless, I thank you for paying attention. I don't got many people to talk to about superheroes, so it means a lot. And they mean a lot. So that is it. We're ready for Brand New Day, which is not a reboot of all the Spider-Man movies, because the other ones were trash. Incorrect. I hope I spelled it out pretty well why it wasn't. And on to the next adventure from all the ramifications that happened before. Now we gotta see how much it's gonna affect him in this next movie. And then from there, we're going to Doomsday. So we'll see. But that is that. Again, thank you for watching if you did. This is my sign out for Amazing Spider-Man 5, the final video I made. Hopefully one of these days people will watch them. But if not, I enjoyed making them. I enjoyed writing them. I enjoyed finding points. I enjoyed finding spots where I could find, like, not loopholes, but points that, you know, like, that makes a point. That makes sense. Having those epiphanies was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I loved being on this ride with one of my favorite superheroes, Spider-Man. And I think one of the best superheroes to hit the big screen, and we're fortunate to have him, period. So even though my favorite may not be yours, we all can agree that Spider-Man deserves the best, and he's just a man. He's great, and we're so lucky he's been around for so long, and for many more, hopefully. So we'll see. But Brand New Day's up next, and we'll go into that. Thank you for watching if you did. If you actually went through all this, like, subscribe, share, that means a lot. That means you're really dedicated. And if you're not here, it sucks. I wish you were. But that's the way it goes. Great power comes great responsibility.